This podcast is intended for mature audiences.
Welcome to Echoes in the Black, Episode 2, a solo role-playing story told using the Shadowdark RPG, where darkness presses close, resources run thin, and survival is never guaranteed. I am the soloist. I don't script outcomes, I don't protect characters. I ask questions of the world, and the world answers back, sometimes kindly, often not. This is a real solo role-playing game campaign. The dice are honest here. What they decide stands, good, bad, or fatal. After all, the dice whisper fate. This season is called The Crown Below. It's a story of buried truths and the consequences of digging too deep. Some who walk into the dark tonight may not walk out again. That isn't tragedy, that's truth. When I roll it, you'll hear it, and when the rules matter, I'll name them. Nothing behind the curtain, no quiet re-rolls, and no hidden retcons. What happens, happens. Okay, let's return to the dark, where the world remembers what the dice reveal. Okay, to open this episode, I need to introduce you to the fourth character, and this is Zirak. He is half orc, half elf, and he's a knight of St. Idris. I'll go into his statistics shortly, but let's generate a random event for him to start the episode and see if we can get things going. So we're going to roll on the event focus table of the Mythic GME emulator. And that is a 58, which means PC negative. Okay, not a great start. And from there, rather than use the Mythic GME emulator prompts, I'm going to use the ones from Shadowdark. And the first roll is an 11. And that's sneak. And the noun is 41, danger. Okay, that doesn't sound too promising for Zirak because as it stands he's on his own. But let's have a think about what can happen and how we might interpret that. Let's get back to the narrative. Rain slicked the cobblestones of Tanner's Row, turning the narrow street into a ribbon of reflected lantern light. Zirak pulled his cloak tighter around his shoulders, though the fabric was already soaked through. The message had said to meet here, at midnight, alone, a contact from the Ashen Vale, with information Cal had risked his life to pass along. Zirak had learned long ago that hope was a dangerous thing. Still, he'd come. He stepped beneath the sagging awning of an abandoned tannery, the smell of old leather and rot clinging to the air. No one waited for him. No whispered password, no flicker of a lantern, just the rain. He exhaled, letting the tension bleed from his shoulders. And that was when he heard the scrape of boots behind him. Okay, let's tell you a little bit about Zirak then. He is half orc, half elf, which I thought was an interesting little take on the traditional trope. He's a level 1 knight of St. Idris, which is a unique character class to Shadowdark from the Curse Scroll number 1, the Shadowdark sign Diablerie. And the only description for a knight of St. Idris, which is very typical of the Shadowdark style, is that they are a cursed knight who walk the path of St. Idris the Unholy, the Possessed. They embrace the darkness in order to fight it, cleansing evil with a flurry of steel and forbidden sorcery. They have 1d6 hit points per level, can use all melee weapons and crossbows. They can wear all armour and shields, and they'll know the common language and diabolic, One of their special rules is demonic possession, which means 3 times per day they gain a +1 bonus to damage rolls that last for 3 turns. In addition, add half of your level to the damage bonus and round down, which obviously for Zirak at the moment doesn't help him. And at level 3 they can begin to cast witch spells, which would be very useful if he ever gets there. His statistics are 14 strength for +2, dexterity of 10, constitution of 12 for +1, intelligence of 10, wisdom of 9, and charisma of 9. Thanks to his constitution, he has 7 hit points because we're starting on maximum hit points for the first level. And he carries a warhammer, a crossbow, and wears chain armour. His armour class is 13, his alignment lawful, and his background is fallen, which we will investigate either in this episode or the next. On his talents, he managed to gain a +1 to melee or ranged attacks, so we're going to give it to melee attacks. Because as a half-orc, he also gets a natural +1 for being 90 to his attack and damage rolls with melee weapons. So that gives him an overall of +4 for attack with a +1 damage roll. Adding that onto his d10 for the warhammer should make him a fairly strong fighter. How I have interpreted this scene, which is PC negative with sneak danger, is that Zirak is on his way to a clandestine meeting with somebody from the Ashen Vale, which is the underground resistance movement which is outlawed in Karvan, and Zirak is a member of. But he's on his way to meet a contact within the Ashen Vale. But it seems as though he's been double-crossed and has now been ambushed by 2 characters, rapscallions, ne'er-do-wells, who are there to spoil his night. Now, in Shadowdark, 0-level characters are a thing, and within my campaign, only 5% of people, only 5% of the population actually attain level 1. So it's only a 1 in 20 chance that anybody or any NPC that characters meet will be of any level. However, because of the nature of the work that the characters will be doing during this story, they will be meeting the more powerful members of the NPC class. But in this instance, because it's a random event, it is PC negative, but it is only episode 2 and we haven't met Zirak yet. I have been more lenient than perhaps I thought I might be, and these 2 characters are 0 level. Just street thugs really, who have been hired to deliver a message to Zirak and probably cause him some significant harm.
Zirak spun, pulling his warhammer from his back, but the first blow landed before he could draw. A fist slammed into his mouth. He staggered, vision blurring as a second figure emerged from the shadows. 2 of them. Not resistance, not trained, just hard muscle. The first thug grinned, teeth crooked and yellow. Should have stayed out of royal business, half-breed. Zirak tasted blood, his own. He straightened, forcing his stance steady. You're making a mistake. Maybe. The second man circled him, a short blade glinting in the lantern light. But the coin spends the same, and the woman said you'd come. Zirak's pulse tightened. What woman? The thugs shrugged. Some witch, name is Jinn, I think. A lie, a deliberate one. Someone wanted him angry, off balance. Someone wanted him dead. Okay, round 1, time to roll for initiative. Zirak rolls 16. The attackers, who are named Kale and Drell, roll a 4. So, despite getting a punch in the mouth, Zirak attacks first with his warhammer. He rolls an 18 plus 4 for 22. Kale's armour is only 11, in fact he's not wearing any armour. Kale lunged with his short sword, untrained, unskilled, just thuggish, as Zirak's warhammer catches him across the chin, spinning him round to fall in a heap on the floor, dead. He's only got 1 hit point, so there's no point rolling for damage. Drell was quicker though, and saw his chance to strike. Drell rolls 19, a hit. Damage roll. He's got a short sword, so the damage is a d6. Oh my. Okay, that is a 6. Zirak only has 1 hit point left. This could be the end of Zirak before the story has really started. The sword glanced down Zirak's side. Pain flared in his ribs as he twisted, and the sword opened a wound. His breath came ragged, each movement sending fire through his body. 6 points of pain, each one a reminder that he was losing this fight. He was bleeding. Surely it wouldn't end here. "Who sent you?" Zirak growled. Drell swallowed. "Didn't see her face, just the coin. Said you'd be here. Said you wouldn't walk away." Okay, round 2, initiative. Lose and Zirak may be dead before his story starts. Characters do have luck points in Shadowdark, but I'm letting the dice whisper their fate here. Drek, possibly now nervous as he is alone, and seeing his accomplice fall dead, rolls a 3. On a d20, that's not great. If he survives another round, I'll definitely make a morale check for him. I doubt the coin he was paid isn't enough to risk his life. Zirak rolls a 5. Barely going first, his attack. He draws breath and in a rage swings down with his hammer. The attack roll. 4. Even with +4, that's a miss. Drek grins. This is his chance. You can see Zirak is bleeding. He lunges in with his sword. A natural 1. Now, there's no rules in Shadowdark for a natural 1, so I'm using the chart from the Roll and Play supplement from the Games Master's Fantasy Toolkit, and there'll be links in the show notes. I roll percentage die, and that is a 67. Okay, the narrative there is, how embarrassing you missed and hope no one saw you. Well, I think Drek needs to suffer more than embarrassment, so I'll use the rule John uses in Tale of the Manticore, where a 1 means the character misses the next round of combat. So Zirak, his luck is in, he will get a free hit in round 3. So round 3, no initiative. Zirak takes the advantage of Drek's untrained lunge that throws him off balance and swings his warhammer in an uppercut motion. 14 +4, that's a hit. Damage is a d10 +1, that's 9 +1 for 10. As Drek only had 1 hit point anyway, he is very dead. He slams against the wall and slides down in it. Zirak swung the warhammer over his back. Blood dripped from his fingers, mixing with the rain. He leaned against the wall, forcing himself to breathe through the pain. Someone had betrayed him. Someone who knew his roots, his contacts, his allies. Someone who knew Jin's name. He pushed off the wall, nearly stumbling as his leg buckled. He caught himself, jaw clenched, and began the long walk towards the only place in Carvel where he might find answers, or at least a friendly face. Jin's loft. Above the old tavern, warm light in a city gone cold. He staggered into the rain, each step a battle, each breath a reminder that he was still alive. For now. Legends and Lore. Carvel is the beating heart of Westmere, its largest, wealthiest and most politically volatile city. Built where the river splits and the old imperial roads converge, Carvel spreads across both banks in a dense tangle of stone streets, market squares and fortified districts. From afar, its skyline rises like a jagged crown, watchtowers, temple spires, merchant halls and the looming bulk of the Protector's citadel built in the grounds of the old imperial palace. This is a population of around 80,000 people, around 95% of which are human, and the rest made up of principally dwarves, but also a scattering of elves, halflings, half-orcs and goblins. Only around 5% of the population are what would be called leveled characters, so around 4,000 within the city itself. And the highest level characters within the city are the Lord Protector, who is a level 7 fighter, and the Archmage Selvarus Thane, who is Master of the Azure Tower. Some or all of these high-level characters we may get to meet as the campaign progresses. But beneath Corval, the city doesn't end. Stone gives way to older stone, and then to things that were never meant to be seen again. The foundations of the city are not a single layer, nor even a sensible stack. They are a palimpsest, eras written over eras, each believing itself permanent, each eventually buried by the next ambition. The lowest tunnels are rough and narrow, cut by hands that still feared the dark. Their ceilings bow, their walls bear tool marks smoothed by centuries of damp breath. These passages once carried the dead in solemn silence, or water in carefully measured flows. Now they carry neither reverence nor utility, just echoes, and the echoes linger long after the footsteps have passed. Above them lie the catacombs of empire, wide halls of dressed stone, vaulted and orderly, their architects convinced that symmetry could defy time. Names are carved there of kings, generals and saints, many now unrecognisable, their letters softened into suggestion. When the empire fell, its dead were left behind, entombed with their certainty. The living moved on, but the tunnels remained waiting. Then came the age of guilds. They did not build downward out of reverence or fear, but out of necessity. New passages were carved to connect old ones. Collapsed crypts were cleared and reinforced. Forgotten drainage channels were widened just enough for a person to pass, shoulders scraping stone. The result isn't a unified system, but a web, pragmatic, crooked and clever. No map captures it properly. The sewers closest to the surface still carry water, though far less than they once did. Grates are hidden beneath market stalls and inside abandoned shrines. Some tunnels smell of rot, others of oil and damp parchment. A person can walk for hours beneath Corval without ever crossing the same path twice, unless they knew which symbols to follow. Those symbols are subtle. A notch cut too cleanly into a support beam, a trio of scratches near a bend in the wall, a candle stub placed where no wind should reach. Each guild has its own language, laid atop older ones, careful not to erase what came before. In some places, 5 centuries of signs overlap, a quiet argument carved into stone. The shadow organisations learned quickly that the tunnels were not neutral ground. Some passages belonged unofficially to the smugglers, wide enough for carts stripped of their wheels. Others were claimed by whisper guilds and information brokers, narrow routes that forced travellers into single file, ideal for conversation or ambush. A few chambers were avoided by everyone, not because they were dangerous, but because they felt watched. Even criminals had their superstitions. Safe houses were built where walls had already fallen. Old burial alcoves were converted into rooms with low tables and shuttered lanterns. Doors were set where doors had never been intended, hinges sunk into ancient stone. Prisoners were kept in places designed to be forgotten, flooded tunnels sealed off, or crypts whose names had long since eroded away. Few who are taken below never know how far beneath the city they truly are, and through it all, Corval endures. Jin opened the door before he could knock. Her eyes widened. Zirak, by the gods, what happened, and why is everyone bleeding tonight? He pushed past her into the room, breath ragged.
Ambush. They were waiting for me. Someone used your name to draw me out.
Rowan, half asleep on the couch, sat up with a groan. Well, that's not ideal. Zerak dropped the note onto Jin's table. The parchment was damp from rain and sweat, the ink smudged but still legible.
Cal wrote this, he said. He's been taken by the Quiet Vigil. They're holding him in the Protector's cells. They're going to execute him at noon tomorrow.
Jin's face tightened. Noon? That's barely any time. Rowan rubbed his temples. And the square will be packed. Guards everywhere. We can't just stroll up and ask them nicely to stop. Zerak sank into a chair, exhaustion finally catching him.
I'm not asking you to die for him, but I can't let them hang Cal. Not without trying.
Jin placed a hand on his shoulder. You're not doing this alone. Rowan sighed, long and weary. Oh, fine. I'm in. But I'm telling you now, if we get arrested, I'm blaming all of you. Rosalind stepped forward, her expression softening. Half-orc, let me tend your wounds. So Rosalind is going to attempt to cast Cure Wounds on Zerak. She has a +4 to her spellcasting ability, so that's a d20, and she needs an 11. And that's a 6. +4, 10, so that's a fail. She placed her hands over Zerak's injuries, whispering a prayer to Ward. A faint glow flickered, then sputtered, and died. Rosalind caught her breath. She tried again, harder this time, her eyes closing, pressing onto the wound, but nothing came. She stepped back, shaken. Ward does not hear me. I do not understand. Jin moved to her side. You're exhausted. It's been a long day. Rosalind shook her head, voice trembling. No, this is more than fatigue. I am forsaken. The room fell quiet. Zerak broke the silence with a weary exhale.
We all need rest. Whatever happens tomorrow, we'll face it together.
They agreed. Jin found spare blankets and cleared space for them to sleep. Rowan collapsed almost instantly, still smelling faintly a veil from the tavern brawl. Zerak drifted into a restless sleep, clutching the notes like a lifeline. And Rosalind lay awake longest, staring at her hands, waiting for a warmth that never came. She would join these people. It may be her best chance to find redemption. If an innocent man could be saved from death, Ward would surely see that balance had been restored. Before we head to the next scene, it's worth taking a moment to understand why this unlikely group is even together, and why they're willing to risk themselves for Cal. Zerak, Rowan and Jin aren't strangers. They've crossed paths in Carval more than once, usually in the kind of situations where you learn quickly who you can rely on. Rowan and Zerak fought in the same war, though not always on the same front. They share that quiet, unspoken bond of people who've seen too much and survived anyway. Jin, meanwhile, has been a fixer, a guide, and occasionally a lifeline for both of them. The sort of person who knows how to hide you, feed you, or get you out of trouble when the Vigil is sniffing around. So when Zerak has arrived at her loft, bleeding and desperate, neither Rowan nor Jin hesitated. Cal wasn't just a name on a note. He was someone Zerak trusted, and that was enough. Rosalind is the outlier. It's only on paper. She's new to this group, yes, but she's a priest of Ord, or at least she was. Her crisis of faith, her exile, and the strange silence she feels from her god have left her searching for purpose. Helping Zerak stop an unjust execution gives her something she desperately needs, a chance to do good, to matter, to prove she hasn't been abandoned. So the four of them stand together, not because they're a well-oiled party, but because each of them, in their own way, refuses to look away from a man about to die, and because in Carval, sometimes the only people you can trust are the ones who are already running from the same darkness. Morning arrived gently, with the smell of frying ham and eggs drifting through the loft. Jim moved quietly between stove and table. Hob, her raven familiar, perched on a beam above her, watching with bright, curious eyes. Rowan stumbled out first, squinting. "Bright gods, why is the sun so loud?" Jim smirked. "Eat, it'll help." Rosalind emerged next, wearing her freshly washed robes. Her hair was damp from a bath, and her face calmer, but still shadowed by doubt. Zurek followed, armour buckled, wounds bound, strength restored by a night's rest. As an aside, in Shadowdark, 8 hours rest means you recover your full hit points, which is very useful. He nodded to Jin. "Thank you for everything." She waved him off. Eat first, heroics later. They gathered around the table, four unlikely companions bound by circumstance, fear, and a single task. Rowan pushed his empty plate away. "Right, execution's at noon. We should get moving." Zurek tightened his gauntlets. "Whatever happens, I will try." Rosalind lifted her hood, Ward willing. Jin strapped her daggers to her belt. And if Ward isn't willing, we improvise. They exchanged a final look, equal parts determination and dread. Then they stepped out onto the streets of Carval in the morning sunshine, the streets still wet from the rain the night before, and headed towards a square where a man's life hung in the balance. And this is where we leave the story for now. The world does not pause when we stop listening. Wounds fester, secrets shift, and the dark remembers every step taken within it. Tonight, the dice have spoken. Their verdict stands. The world has been changed, but not yet broken. Every choice tightens the path ahead, and the dark is learning where you are. Whatever was lost is lost. Whatever survives carries the echo forward. Until next time, remember, the torch always burns out.
If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean a great deal if you would leave a review, give it a thumbs up or a 5-star rating wherever you're listening. Those small gestures make a huge difference, especially for a new show like this, and they help other listeners find their way here too. If you want to help out even more, spread the word. Tell a friend who loves dark fantasy, solo RPGs, or stories where the dice are allowed to be cruel. You can also look out for Echoes in the Black on social media. Details for the Instagram page, Facebook group and Twitter account will be coming very soon, and that's where I'll be sharing updates, art and behind the scenes glimpses as the campaign grows. And if you'd like to get in touch directly, you can always email me at echoesintheblack@gmail.com. And just before I sign off, I've got my first review, and it's actually a voicemail. So thank you very much to Derek from Stroud for leaving this voicemail as the very first review for Echoes in the Black podcast. So take it away, Derek.
Hello. Yes, it's Derek from Stroud here. I've just finished listening to episode 1 of Echoes in the Black podcast, and well, finished is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. I feel it's only fair to say that the voice acting is somewhat ambitious. Several characters appear to be portrayed by what I can only presume to be the same person, occasionally leaning slightly to the left while speaking. A bold choice with questionable results. As for the story, well, yes, it does have a story, I'll give it that. Though at times I do find my mind wandering, usually to things of genuine narrative tension, like whether my kettle has finished boiling. Still, there was an atmosphere, I'll grant you. gloomy and dark as it was. Very Shadowdark, so points for consistency, I suppose. Anyway, I won't take up any more of your time. I just felt you deserve some honest feedback from someone who knows what they're talking about. Best of luck for the next episode. You'll need it. Goodbye. Well, thank you to Derek from Stroud. It's kind of you to leave that voice message.
Until next time, remember, this is Shadowdark. The world is deadly, and the dice don't lie. They just whisper, whisper.
I am Ethrin, the lawkeeper of the Westmere, a witness to histories long drowned, untruths long buried. Mine is a voice carried by fog and forgotten places, where memory clings to stone like lichen, and the past refuses to stay silent. I will be your guide and quiet mentor as we walk the shadowed paths of the Westmere, the realm of Ishtar, and the wider world beyond. There are lands in this world where the old stories still breathe. The Westmere is one such, a vast, waterlogged grave of kingdoms that rose and fell before Carval ever laid its first stone. I have walked its causeways. I have listened to the echoes beneath its surface, and I have learned that history is not a line, but a tide, rising and falling. Carval stands at the edge of that tide now, a city proud of its walls, blind to its foundations. Beneath its streets lie the bones of forgotten kings, the remnants of broken oaths, and the first whispers of a crown forged to bind the ruler to the land itself. Most who live above never hear those whispers, but fate has a voice of its own, soft as breath, sharp as truth. And when the moment comes, when choice and chance entwine, the dice whisper fate. Listen closely. The story begins in shadow, where all